like a nice leader. So they came to him with trouble. Okay. He actually explained to them that why they got into trouble. He gave them enough gyan that this is the reason why you got into trouble. But then he just didn't abandon them. He told them, okay, I myself will personally come to pacify Lord Shiva. So he took all of them and he went to Kailash. Okay.
The abode of Lord Shiva, which is known as Kailasa, is described in the 14 verses which follow.
Oh, why you are reading purport?
The abode known as Kailasa is full of different herbs and vegetables, and it is sanctified by Vedic hymns and mystic yoga practice. Thus, the residents of that abode are demigods by birth and have all mystic powers. Besides them, there are other human beings who are known as Kinnaras and Gandharvas and are accompanied by their wives who are
Beautiful wives.
beautiful wives who are known as apsaras or angels.
Kailash is full of mountains filled with all kinds of valuable jewel and minerals and surrounded by all varieties of valuable trees and plants. The top of hill is nicely decorated by various types of deer.
There are many waterfalls, and in the mountains there are many beautiful caves in which the very beautiful wives of the mystics are found.
On Kailash Hill, there is always the rhythmical sound of the peacock's sweet vibration and the bees humming. Cuckoos are always singing, and other birds whisper amongst themselves.
There are tall trees with straight branches that appear to call the sweet birds. And when the herds of elephant pass through the hills, it appears that the Kailash hill moves with them. When the waterfalls resound, it appears that Kailash hill does also.
The whole of Kailas Hill is decorated with various kinds of trees, of which the following names may be mentioned: Mandar, Parijata, Saral, Tamal, Tal, Kovidhara, Kovidar, Asana, Arjuna, Amrjati, Mango, Kadamba, Jhuli Kadamba, Naga, Punaga, Champaka, Patala, Ashoka, Bahuk, Bahula, Kunda, and Bakula, Kunda, and Kurabaka. The entire hill is decorated with such trees, which produce flowers with fragrant aromas.
Okay.
Trees also which decorate the hill, such as the golden lotus flower, the Chinnaman tree, Malati, Kubja, Mallika, Madhavi.
There are mango trees, Pariyala, Madhuka, and Inguda. Beside these, there are other trees like thin bamboos, Kichaka, and varieties of other bamboo trees, all decorating the tract of Kailas hill.
There are different kinds of lotus flowers such as kumud, anpal, and shaat patra. The forest appear to be a decorated garden, and small lake are full of various kinds of birds who whisper very sweetly. There are many kinds of other animals also, like deer, monkeys, boars, lions, rickshaws, shalya, calves, forest cows, forest asses, tiger, small deer, buffalo, and many other animals who are fully enjoying their lives.
Some of them we know, some of them we don't know. Some of them we know. Yeah, yeah. Some of them may also be known, but we don't know the Sanskrit and the botanical equivalent. If someone does, some botany student does some research of this is the Sanskrit and this is the botanical, they may be able to find most of the trees. But some of them common trees like jackfruit, mango and all we also know now. Yeah, it is same, but the only point is that uh, we are able to see the geographical place, but we are unable to enter the spiritual plane. That is the problem. Like even Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Mayapur is covered by a layer by Prodamaya. So beneath that layer, the actual Mayapur is there. And when a devotee is able to enter that Mayapur, which is beneath that layer of Prodamaya, then Bhaktivinoda Thakur says you can see Mahaprabhu dancing, you can see his associates playing and all those things. So, but we see only Mayapur, tuk tuk, tok tok, Toto. Uh, that's what we see. Because we are unable to penetrate that layer of Prodamaya and then get inside. So, even same with Vrindavan also, no? We are saying Kojat Kokila Hamsa Sarasa Gana and all. But where do we see all that? Nana Ratna, Nibaddha Mula Utapa, Sita Vrindavan. Where is all the Nana Ratna under the trees? We can't see, we go see any tree, no Ratna is, we cannot see. Right? So, that is the point. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna, everything is possible. Okay.
There are varieties of deer such as Karnantra, Ekapada, Aswasya, Vrika, Kasturi, the deer with which bears musk. Beside the deer, there are many banana trees which decorate the small hillside lake very nicely.
There is a small lake named Alaknanda, in which Sati used to take her bath, and that lake is especially auspicious. All the demigods, after seeing the specific beauty of Kailasha hill, were struck with wonder at the great opulence to be found there.
Thus the demigod saw the wonderful, beautiful region known as Alaka in the forest known as Saugandhik, which means full of fragrance. The forest is known as Saugandhik because of its abundance of lotus flowers.
They also saw the two rivers named Nanda and Alakananda. These two rivers are sanctified by the dust of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Govinda.
My dear Kshatta, Vidura, the celestial damsels come down to those rivers in their airplanes with their husbands, and after sexual enjoyment, they enter the water and enjoy sprinkling their husbands with water.
In previous chapters also we came across Vidura calling the name Kshatta. The speaker said he could not able to recollect why Vidura has been known as Shatta?
Because Shatta is a jati. It's a caste of people who are born for a high class father and low class mother. So with which they are born of mixed marriage. So then such people are called as Shatta. And specifically those who are born of Brahminical father and Shudra mother, they are called as Shatta, and they are considered as Shudra class. So that's why he is given that name, Shatta. Okay.
After the themselves of the heavenly planets bathe in the water, it becomes yellowish and fragrant due to the kumkum from their bodies. Thus the elephants comes to bathe there with their wives, the she elephants, and they also drink the water, although they are not thirsty.
Okay.
The aeroplanes of the heavenly denizens are bedecked with pearls, gold, and many valuable jewels. The heavenly denizens are compared to clouds in the sky decorated with occasional flashes of electric lightning.
While traveling, the demigods pass over the forest known as Saugandhika, which is full of varieties of flowers, fruits, and desired trees. While passing over the forest, they also saw the region of Yaksheshwara.
In that celestial forest, there were many birds whose necks were colored reddish and whose sweet sounds mixed with humming of the bees. The lakes were abundantly decorated with crying swans as well as strong stemmed lotus flowers.
All this atmospherical influence upsettled the forest elephants who flocked together in the sandalwood forest, and the blowing wind agitated the minds of the damsels there for further sexual enjoyment.
They also saw that the bathing ghats and their staircases were made up of Vaidurya mani. The water was full of lotus flowers. Passing by such lakes, the demigod reached a place where there was a great banyan tree.
That banyan tree was 800 miles high, and its branches spread over 600 miles around. The tree cast a fine shade which permanently cooled the temperature, yet there was no noise of birds.
The demigods saw Lord Shiva sitting under that tree, which was competent to give perfection to mystic yogis and deliver all people. As grave as time eternal, he appeared to have given up all anger.
Lord Shiva sat there surrounded by saintly persons like Kuvera, the master of Guyakas, and the four Kumaras who were already liberated souls. Lord Shiva was grave and saintly.
The demigod saw Lord Shiva situated in his perfection as the master of the senses, knowledge, fruity activities, and the path of achieving perfection. He was a field of the entire world, and friend of the entire world, and by virtue of his full affection for everyone, he was very auspicious.
He was seated on a deer skin and was practicing all forms of austerity. Because his body was smeared with ashes, he looked like an evening cloud, and his hair was the sign of a half moon, a symbolic representation.
He was seated on a straw mattress and was speaking to all present, including the great sage Narada, to whom he specifically spoke about the absolute truth.
His left leg was placed on his right thigh, and his left hand was placed on his left thigh. This sitting posture is called Virasana. In his right hand, he held Rudraksh beads, and his finger was in the mode of argument.
Sages and demigods headed by Indra offered their respectful obeisances unto Lord Shiva with folded hands. Lord Shiva was dressed in saffron garments and absorbed in trance, thus appearing to be the foremost of all sages.
Yes.
With the damsels also?
There is no specific mention, but they might have come with their damsels.
Because it was just mentioned before going to Kailash, they went to that river, they had sex, and
No,
then
no, that is those demigods and damsels who are residents of Kailash. They were local people. ये लोग दूसरा टेम्पल से टूर आ रहा है, वो लोग उस टेम्पल का रेसिडेंट है, इधर उधर घूम रहा है, प्रसाद खा रहा है, सब कुछ कर रहा है. Okay.
Lord Shiva's lotus feet were worshipped by both the demigods and demons. But still, in spite of his exalted position, as soon as he saw the Lord Brahma was there among all the other demigods, he immediately stood up and offered him respect by bowing down and touching his lotus feet, just as Vaman Dev offered his respectful obeisances to Kashyap Muni.
Abhidako, there was no problem. He got up, he paid obeisances to Brahma. Okay.
All the sages who were sitting with Lord Shiva, such as Narad and others, also offered their respectful obeisances to Lord Brahma. After being so worshipped, Lord Brahma, smiling, began to speak to Lord Shiva.
Okay. So we'll just read some purport. Very few purports are there. We'll read and then we'll come back, because then the prayers which are offered to Lord Shiva. Okay, please read.
Ratikarshitaha means that the damsels become morose after sex enjoyment. Although they accept sex enjoyment as a bodily demand, afterwards they are not happy. Undoubtedly, it is troublesome to go from one place to another, but one who is intelligent can take shelter at the lotus feet of Govinda and thereby be automatically sanctified as a result of his pilgrimage. Anyone who is fixed in the service of the lotus feet of Govinda is called Tirthapada. He does not need to travel on various pilgrimages, for he can enjoy all the benefits of such travel simply by engaging in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord. Such a pure devotee who has implicit faith in the lotus feet of the Lord can create sacred places in any part of the world where he decides to remain. Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthahani, Bhagavatam 1:13-10. In other words, such a pure devotee who is engaged 100% in the service of the Lord can remain anywhere in the universe, and that part of the universe immediately becomes a sacred place where he can peacefully render service to the Lord as the Lord desires.
So Prabhupada's traveled to various places all over the world and establishing various wonderful temples is a very shining example of this. That when Mahaprabhu took sannyas, then Mahaprabhu immediately wanted to go to Vrindavan. But he was so ecstatic that he did not eat, he has not taken bath, he did not have even change of kaupin, cloth, nothing, and he wanted to run to Vrindavan. And then Nityananda Prabhu thought this is not very intelligent way of doing things. So therefore Nityananda Prabhu made his own plan. Then he told Mahaprabhu that Mahaprabhu asked Nityananda Prabhu how to go to Vrindavan. He said that, oh, you just go by the way of Yamuna, you will go to Vrindavan. Then Mahaprabhu asked Nityananda Prabhu, where is Vrindavan, where is Yamuna? He showed Ganga and he said, this is Yamuna. Then Mahaprabhu started going, but he also knows this Nityananda Prabhu is a very problematic guy. He can give some sort of direction here and there. So because he is Avaduta, no, he can do whatever he wants. So then he thought, I need reconfirmation. But Nityananda Prabhu more intelligent than Mahaprabhu. So he went before him and he told some cowherd boys who were playing that side, he told, one sannyasi will come like a madman, he will be jumping and dancing and singing Hare Krishna. He will ask, which is the way to go to Vrindavan? You just go the same way. And he'll ask whether this is Yamuna, you tell yes, yes, this is Yamuna. So then he made all this arrangement, and then he went to Advaita Acharya's house. And he told Advaita Acharya, see, he took sannyas, but he didn't eat anything, he has not taken bath, no change of cloth, nothing. So better you take some change of cloth and then some gamcha, and then you come and meet Mahaprabhu on the way. He is coming along the Ganges. So Mahaprabhu came, he saw these boys, and then he asked these boys, which is the way to Vrindavan? They said, yeah, go this way, go this way. And is this Yamuna? Yeah, Yamuna is correct, go this way. So Mahaprabhu also thought, oh, boys don't lie. He thought that boys don't lie, so let's go. So he was going, and while he was going, he saw Advaita Acharya. And then he thought, hey, Advaita, you also came to Vrindavan, how nice. Then Advaita Acharya told him, wherever you are, that is Vrindavan. So that is how this whole conception came, that a devotee can carry Vrindavan in his heart, Mayapur in his heart, in different place in his heart. And this is this Prabhupada's magic. Once I was traveling to Russia, we were going to Siberia, Irkutsk, me and my wife, going to Siberia for some preaching. And first time we are going that side, only I read in my geography lesson, there is one railway line between Moscow to Irkutsk. This is the longest line in the world. But I never went that side. So I thought, anyway, I'm going there. But as fate would have it, our flight, the cheapest flight which we could get, was through Beijing, China. So we had a transit in Beijing for one night. We had to stay in Beijing for a night. Then I tried to get some visa for China, and even that time getting visa for China was very cumbersome. You have to have all your passport, which was given in your previous janma, everything you should take and go. It's very, very cumbersome to take visa for China. Then I gave up that whole idea. Anyway, only one night, forget it, I thought. Then we went and we stayed. We went to Beijing airport in the almost in the afternoon time, and we came out because we had to take another flight. So you have to come out and then go into the departure again. You have to come in the arrival, and then you have to go to departure lounge again and take a new flight next day morning. Oh my God, that departure lounge was a horrible place. I've never seen a place like that. So it's very difficult to explain the kind of scene which is there. People have no culture, they have no sense of civility. It's very bad place. So me and my wife, we didn't know what to do. Then I thought, but we found it's very easy to get this transit visa in China. When you get down, if you have a clear transit flight, then up to that flight, they give you visa for 1 day, 2 day, very easily. You can just go walk into the counter and get it. There's no procedure at all. Just show your passport and then show your ticket, onward ticket, and you can get one visa. So we got that visa. And then we came out. And I wrote to one Chinese devotee in Mayapur. And I told the devotee, we are in Beijing. You get some Chinese devotee to come and take us, give us some prasad. We'll sleep in their house, and then we go to next day to Russia. So then she connected to somebody, and then she sent me address in Chinese. She said that you go to this, you show this address and go to this Chinese address. I don't know how to read Chinese. I showed the airport guy, and then he came and helped to get into taxi. And I showed the taxi guy Chinese address, and he is taking us into Beijing somewhere. My wife is scolding me. She's telling, Namaste, Narasimhaya. What kind of guy you are? You don't know which country, no language, nothing you know. You are going in the middle of the night with one cab fellow, whether he will murder you, take money, what he will do, we don't know. She's singing Namaste, Namaste, and I am telling, okay, anyway, whatever we came now, we'll see where it takes us. Because the cab driver also doesn't know English. So he only knows the Chinese address. And then he went and he stopped in front of some big high-rise building in some place. We don't even know what is that place. And so many Chinese people smoking, drinking, and going around loitering outside the building in the road. And he said, get down. This is where you have to get down. And me and my wife got down. We don't know what to do because we don't know who is coming to take us. We have not seen that devotee. And we are looking for some dhoti, kurta, nothing. No dhoti, no kurta. But in between we heard one magical word, Hare Krishna. And then we became very happy. Okay, the devotee came, we got saved. And then we went with him. He took us in lift and then we entered. As soon as we entered his house was filled with pictures of Mayapur. Entrance only we could see Narsingadev. Then we entered Panchatattva, then Radha Madhava Ashtasaki, then Goshala, then Gurukul, this, that. They had filled their whole, is very, very, probably the whole house was less than this hall. It had 2 bedrooms, it had kitchen, 2 bathroom, everything, but it was probably less than this hall. Very, very compact house, but filled with Mayapur pictures. The moment we entered the house, we felt like we are in Mayapur. Then all that anxiety of, traveling in China, everything was lost. It looked like exactly like Mayapur. Everything related to Mayapur was there in their house. Everything related to Mayapur. We felt so happy. Then they gave us nice prasad. Of course, very nice, authentic Chinese prasad they gave. We ate prasad and then we slept in their house. Next day morning, he dropped us back in airport. And the beauty is that devotee and his word of English. And we don't know one word of Chinese. But they gave us prasad, they gave us shelter, they gave us place to stay, take bath, everything, and he dropped us back also. The only language we communicated to each other was Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Then they packed so much sticky rice. The Chinese, they make sticky rice. They packed so much sticky rice sweet for us to take it to Irkutsk for Russian devotees. And we took so much of prasad, sticky rice prasad for them. And we went to Irkutsk and we distributed to all the devotees in the temple sticky rice that day. And all of them were very happy to eat sticky rice. So this is the magic of Prabhupada. The magic of Prabhupada, that he actually created Vrindavan, Mayapur, Puri, in so many places in the world. He created that. So that's what Prabhupada himself is writing, that when a devotee wants, he can actually create any sacred place. And you see this Juhu, I am sure you all read the history of Juhu temple. This place was a place where all pigs were running. Rats, pigs, mosquitoes. This was more like a forest. And now you see, this place is like a palace. You're all residents of the palace of Radha Ras Bihari Ji. So, and so many people come here. This is Prabhupada's office. People feel so fortunate to come here. So, that is the magic of a pure devotee. That's the magic of a pure devotee, that he can actually do this kind of magic. So when Vidura, he came back, then Yudhishthira told this sloka 1.13.10. What is that? Mahaprasad. What is the sloka? Bhavat Vida Bhagavatas Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho. He said, Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho. You yourself are Tirtha. Why? Tirti Kurvanti Tirthani Swantastena Gadabrata. Because you actually carry the Lord in your heart. You yourself have become Tirtha. Wherever you go, that place becomes Tirtha. And Prabhupada wrote in his purport that all the temples and centers of ISKCON, they are Vaikuntha. They are Vaikuntha. He wrote they are Vaikuntha. So, very fortunate to be in Vaikuntha, in the middle of the most materialistic city of India, Mumbai. And we have no connection with Mumbai. We live in Vaikuntha. Yes, great good fortune. Yes. Yeah. Yes. For him, that is not reality. That is his problem. Why we should worry about it? Yeah. So that is why it is more important to read the purport than the sloka. Okay. For us, what is more important is the transliteration, the translation, and the purport than the sloka itself. Okay. There may be many scholarly devotees inside and outside ISKCON, and they may have their opinion about what is right and what is wrong. But we should understand that they don't have the ability to promise that I will take you to Goloka by the back door. They don't have the ability to make this promise. All said and done. Okay. But Prabhupada has the ability to promise that. And Prabhupada has demonstrated that whatever he wants, Krishna will fulfill. So, for us, it doesn't matter that if some scholarly person thinks that this is right or this is wrong. That is his problem. That he will handle with Prabhupada. Let him go and have a discussion with Prabhupada that whether this is right or this is wrong, or you simply told this to encourage us or to discourage us. Whatever he wants to have that conversation, let him have conversation with Prabhupada. If Prabhupada wrote something to encourage us, let us get encouraged. What is the big deal? What is the big deal? If he wrote something to encourage us, let us get encouraged. And if we have faith in that statement, then Prabhupada will take us through the back door. So, in Tamil we have a saying, are you meant to eat the dosa, or are you meant to count how many holes are there in the dosa? Very simple question, no? अरे डोसा है, चटनी है, खा लो ना. बैठ के उसमें इतना होल है, डोइन 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 डोइन. क्यों टाइम वेस्ट करना? So, I agree that some devotees want to say many things. But what Shastra says is very interesting. Shastra says that the previous acharyas will not come and defend their statement. It is the duty of the successor to defend the statements of the predecessor. So, if we are calling ourselves as successors of Prabhupada, we should be more interested in defending the statements of the predecessor acharya rather than saying that I know better than the acharya. As simple as that. If someone says I know better, okay, thank you sir, you know better, but I don't know better. See, for me it is easy to be fool and have faith in Prabhupada, rather than to become very intelligent and start doubting what Prabhupada wrote. Right? If I am fool like that, I am very happy to be fool like that. So ultimately what we want? We want Prabhupada to take us to Goloka. So if someone wants to say that I am more intelligent than Prabhupada, this is Prabhupada said is not right, I have proof that this Shastra is there, that Shastra is there, that is his problem. Let him use all his intelligence. But we should also use intelligence. We should use intelligence to follow what Prabhupada said. And if you have more intelligence, we should use that intelligence to defend what Prabhupada said. If you have less intelligence, we should use that intelligence to follow what Prabhupada said. And if you have more intelligence, we should use it to defend what Prabhupada said. That's it. I am very happy. That is why sometimes I feel that even though Prabhupada himself wrote in the Bhagavatam purports that it is good for a sincere student of Bhagavatam to read the commentary of the previous acharyas, in ISKCON, for most of them, when they read the commentary of previous acharyas, the sincerity is less and the desire to seek knowledge is more. So that is not a very good way of reading previous Acharya commentaries. We should actually try to understand previous Acharyas through the lens of Prabhupada's commentaries. We should not do the reverse. We should not try to understand, or we should not try to judge Prabhupada's commentaries by trying to study the previous Acharyas' commentaries. Prabhupada is a proven Acharya. He did what nobody ever did. He did what nobody ever did. He came and he made a devotee out of you and me. At least you are intelligent. I am not even intelligent. He could do that. So, it's okay. Those who want to do such research, let them do. We don't have to be too much worried about such things. When we make an institution, and when we make a worldwide institution, and when that institution is a voluntary institution, voluntary means open, voluntary institution, open institution, then different type of people will come. Then different type of people will come. And they will come also with different motivations. I am not saying all motivations are wrong, but they may come with motivations which are appropriate and motivations which are inappropriate. So we should be very careful to save ourselves from such inappropriate motivations. That's it. That's it. There are devotees in ISKCON who are very, very big, very famous, who think that there should be no Diksha Guru. They're like that. The devotees are there. They think that whole concept of Diksha Guru is bogus. Just chant the holy name, that's sufficient. So there are different people who are saying different things, right? And they are also quoting different scriptures to support their statement. Therefore, Rupa Goswami says in Nectar of Devotion that one should not read too many books. One should not read too many books. Once I met Gopi Paranadhan Prabhu. He was in Dubai. I went to meet him. I am a great admirer of Gopi Paranadhan Prabhu. At one point of time, I had a dream that I will go to Vrindavan and I will read Bhagavatam under his tutelage. But before I could act on it, already he left his body and then he went away. So I went to Mayapur. Once he was in Dubai, I went to meet him. And I had of course I had only 2 meetings with him, and both are very, very small meetings. Like each meeting would have lasted for 2 minutes or more. So I met him. I told him, I paid obeisance to him. I spoke few words of appreciation to him. And then he was gracious. He smiled and then he agreed. And then I asked him that, can you please write commentary on Govinda Bhashya? Because I have great desire to study Govinda Bhashya, and there is no authentic commentary which I could access in English. So would you please like to write commentary on Govinda Bhashya? So Gopi Paranadhan Prabhu told me that in this lifetime, if I finish studying Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam, that is sufficient for me. So that was a revelation for me. That was a revelation for me. I thought if such a great personality says that it is sufficient for him to read Prabhupada's Bhagavatam in this lifetime, then I should very seriously rethink about my ideas of what I should read and what I should not read. So then I thought better I just focus on Prabhupada's books, so which I am trying to do till now. And my personal experience of whatever it is worth or not worth, it is highly rewarding. It is highly rewarding. It's highly rewarding. I would have taught first 6 cantos, many units, many sections of first 6 cantos at least 12 times, 13 times. But each time I teach one unit, I always find it very interesting because always I can learn something new. This unit maybe I'm teaching, I don't know, for the 9th, 10th time, whatever it is, I don't know. I don't know. But it is so fresh. It is so fresh. It gives so many new ideas. It gives so many new things to learn. So there is unlimited amount of depth in Prabhupada's commentaries. So if one is fortunate to dedicatedly study them in a very nice and scrutinizing manner, then nothing more is required. Nothing more is required. Nothing more is required. I met His Holiness Guru Prasad Swami just before coming here. That's why I got delayed. He asked me to come to his room. I'm just staying opposite to him. So I went and met him. I paid obeisance to him. I previously met him in a very challenging situation. We had some difficult subject matter to discuss, and then he was trying to mediate that difficult subject. So the first question he asked me was, "Are you the same Hari Lila Das?" I said, "Yes, I am that same rascal." So then he nicely told me. So it is true that different people have different opinion, but it is up to us to get carried away by that opinion or not carried away by that opinion. Yeah. We should always remember this point. All the scholars in ISKCON learnt Krishna consciousness at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. All the scholars in ISKCON learned Krishna consciousness at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. When Prabhupada was asked that what does Prabhupada mean, Prabhupada gave reply that Acharya, at his lotus feet, many Acharyas sit and learn. He gave one of the explanation of Prabhupada like this. That Acharya, whose lotus feet many Acharyas sit and learn. We should never forget this. We should never forget this. And if you really study Prabhupada's purports, then you can understand what it means to be a Rasika Bhakta of Srimad Bhagavatam. If you really study Prabhupada's purport very deeply, you can really understand what it when Sukadeva Goswami is being glorified. He said, "Muhuraho rasika bhuvbhavakaha pibata bhagavatam rasam alayam." Muhuraho rasika bhuvbhavakaha. A rasika bhakta can drink Bhagavatam. And that you can understand by studying Prabhupada's purports. What it means to actually become a Rasika and drink Bhagavatam. What it means to actually bring out that element of rasa in every canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada's purports are amazing. Of course, it is written in simple, plain English. But sometimes that simple, plain English is so deceiving that if you don't look for it, you will not be able to see that rasa which is actually hiding in those explanations of his purports. Okay. Yeah. Hmm. He should read Prabhupada's purports and he should listen to Prabhupada lectures. So, I'll give an example. One example. Okay. So, in Nectar of Instruction, in the purport to the third sloka, Prabhupada is quoting Mahatmanastu Mam Partha Daivim Prakritim Ashitaha Bhajanti Ananya Manaso Jnatva Bhutadim Aye. And while explaining the concept of Daivim Prakritim Ashitaha, in Nectar of Instruction, Prabhupada is saying that it means Srimati Radharani. So, in Nectar of Instruction, which is the book in which Prabhupada himself writes that this is meant for neophytes, it's written in the preface that Rupa Goswami wrote this book for neophyte devotees. And in the beginning of Nectar of Instruction, which is not in the end of Nectar of Instruction, which is talking about Radha Kunda and things like that. In the beginning of Nectar of Instruction, which is talking about the basic qualities of how to become a servant of a Vaishnava. These are the first 3 slokas. That how to qualify ourselves to serve Vaishnavas. That's the essence of first 3 slokas. In that sloka, Prabhupada is saying that the purpose of life is Radha Dasyam. So, if this is not understanding of Prayojana, what else is understanding of Prayojana? Okay, you forget this. They are at least inside. Okay. Now, let us come outside Nectar of Instruction. Who remembers the first line of the preface of Nectar of Instruction? The first line of the preface of Nectar of Instruction, who remembers? Nobody remembers. The ultimate prayojana is explained in that first line. What is that? You are seeing. You didn't remember. You should remember. The ultimate prayojana of Gaudiya Vaishnavism is explained in that first line. The Krishna conscious movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. What is he saying? This is the ultimate prayojana of Gaudiya Vaishnava Tattva, that you are actually meant to become a Manjari. This is the ultimate prayojana of Gaudiya Vaishnava Tattva. But it is written in plain English. The Krishna conscious movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. Is that in plain English? If you get deceived by the plain English, then it is your misfortune. If you get deceived by the plain English, then it is your misfortune. But if you try to understand what is behind that plain English, it is your good fortune. Sri Rupa Manjari Pada Se Mora Sampada. Narottama Das Thakur is singing, and same thing Prabhupada is writing, that the Krishna conscious movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. What is the difference between Narottama Das Thakur's song and Prabhupada's statement? What is the difference? What does supervision mean? What does supervision mean? If you are asked to supervise one person, what will you do? Just care of him. You will exactly tell him what to do, how to do, everything, right? So if Rupa Goswami is going to tell you exactly what to do, how to do, is that not the perfection of your life? Is that not the prayojana? Is not Narottama Das Thakur singing Rupa Raghunatha Pade Hoibe Ahuti? So what more prayojana we are looking for? What more prayojana we are looking for? What people are looking for is they want to know what pastimes, amorous pastime happened between Krishna and Radharani, and how Rupa Goswami was involved in that. Now Prabhupada is saying, first deserve, then desire. First deserve and then desire. Prabhupada is saying the name will reveal the Nama will reveal the Rupa. Rupa will reveal the Guna. Guna will reveal the Lila. Lila will reveal the Parshadas. Nama, Guna, Rupa, Lila and Parshada. Okay. So he is saying, why we don't have faith? We want to go jump the gun and listen to what Krishna did with Radharani and Radharani did with Krishna. Why? When Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur came to Radhakunda, all the Radhakunda Babajis thought that Siddhanta Saraswati is coming. He is going to speak about Radha Krishna Lila and Radhakunda. So we should go and listen to his lectures. So they all came, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur spoke from the Upanishad. And after 1 day, 2 days, they stopped coming. You know what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said? You know what he said? He said they are not living in Radhakunda, they are living in Narakakunda. What he said? They are not living in Radhakunda, they are living in Narakakunda. So, it is not that the Acharya is explaining about the Prayojana. The Acharya is explaining about the Prayojana, but he is saying that there is a way to get to that Prayojana. There is a way to get to that Prayojana. You follow that way. You follow that way, you will reach Prayojana there. Right? If you don't want to follow that way, if you want to go your own way, then it's okay, you can go your own way. But that whether you will reach Prayojana or whether you will reach mental speculation, who knows? Who knows? Because in Bhagavatam it is very clearly said, great devotees come to this material world at the request of Krishna. And then they practically show how to cross over the ocean of material existence. After that, they leave the boat which they used to cross over the ocean of material existence. And then Krishna accepts that boat as an authentic device to cross over the ocean of material existence. So anybody who gets on that boat, then Krishna makes sure that they can cross over the ocean of material existence. Now you can say, no, I want to go on my own boat, because in Prabhupada's boat, the instructions are not fully there. There's only instruction how to get into the boat. There's no instruction how to sail the boat. There's no instruction how to get to the other end of the ocean of material existence. For that, I will go and use some other boat. I will go and use some other boat. Okay, welcome, do it. But whether you will cross over, or whether you will drown in between, or whether you will go to some other destination, there is no guarantee, because that is not Krishna's boat. That's not Krishna's boat. So we should be very careful. We should be very careful. It is said in Upanishad, Yasya deve parabhaktir yata deve tata guru tasyahi katita hartaha prakashante mahatmanaha. Many people ask me, because I am a teacher, this is a professional hazard of being a teacher. Many people ask me how to read Prabhupada books. Many times I get this question, how to read Prabhupada books. My answer to all of them is same. You invest faith and read Prabhupada book. There is no other technique. Rest of all other techniques are immaterial. Rest of all other techniques are immaterial. You may have this technique, that technique, this, that, trying to find out what is a definition, what is an analogy, what is this, what is that. They are all immaterial. You just invest in faith. You have faith, and then you have faith in Acharya, and then you read Prabhupada's book. Then you will automatically understand. Because that is the process which the Upanishad is saying. The Upanishad is saying that as a process. Yasya deve parabhaktir yata deve tata guru tasyahi katita hartaha prakashante mahatmanaha. So the process is already there in Upanishad. So you just follow the process. Some people may say that you are fanatic, right? It's good to be Prabhupada fanatic. Carry it like a badge. Carry it like a badge. Good. Okay. Please read the purport. That's why, see, previously I used to do PowerPoint. When I started teaching, I used to do some fancy PowerPoint, that, this and other things. And I used to teach. Then after 2 years, I changed my whole strategy. No PowerPoint, nothing. Just project Prabhupada books on the screen and then do what you have to do. Because I found that people are not reading Prabhupada books. Then only comes PowerPoint, that is everything. If you're not even reading Prabhupada book, what is the use of doing Bhakti Vaibhav and then doing some PowerPoint presentation and doing some fancy things? What is the use of doing that? Better you read Prabhupada book, better you read something from the commentary. At least you will understand, you discuss, you spend some time on the commentary. At least you have done something. At least you have done something. Okay, please read.
Whenever there is a nice atmosphere in the material world, immediately there is an awakening of the sexual appetite in the mind of materialistic person. In complete contrast with the influence of this atmosphere on the middle of the living entities, minds of the living entities within the material world is the description of the spiritual world. In other words, in the Vaikuntha world, in spite of its better atmosphere and facilities, there is no impetus for sex life. The inhabitants of Vaikuntha are so spiritually enlightened that in the presence of such a spirituality, sex life is insignificant.
Yeah, it's a material. It's not Vaikuntha. Mahesh Dham is like marginal. But it is not the spiritual world. Still not the spiritual world. It's between the material world and the spiritual world. Okay.
It is impossible to conceive of the existence, name, form, quality, and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he is transcendently situated beyond the conception of materialistic person. It is said that during the advent of Lord Chaitanya, Sadashiva appeared as Advait Prabhu, and Advait Prabhu's chief concern was to elevate the fallen conditioned souls to the platform of devotional service to Lord Krishna.
Yes. So, Advaita Acharya is Sadashiva. Okay, so we'll take a Gayatri break. We'll do Gayatri and then we'll reassemble at 12:50.